What if I told you that the exact moment Jim Jones's life fell apart was captured on camera? Imagine this. Jim moves like a man in a darkly lit hotel corridor while whispers reverberate behind a partially closed door. Owned. Nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to witness, even if he had been told that he had seen the odd texts. Chrissy, the lady he spent years with, was in the room, protecting, caring for, and constructing with. Her ex-boyfriend, Common Shirt Hoff, was standing next to her, his hand hovering perilously close while his voice was low. According to witnesses, Jim knocked the door off its hinges, sending shockwaves through it instead of just opening it. Ripples over the floor. His expression was one of indignation and anguish, the kind of anger that only arises when betrayal pierces deeply. Like someone caught in headlights, Chrissy froze. As cool as ever, it's Common. Like he had nothing to lose, he leaned back. At that point, the yelling began. There were no phones immediately. Insiders said the drama didn't end with the fans yelling, "No way this is happening," as security attempted to restrain Jim. There are voice notes that have been released show Jim threatening to quit their relationship, while others say Chrissy broke down in tears and begged him to listen. Within minutes, social media went haywire, with celebrities and hashtags popping, weighing in, and fans were split. And believe me when I say that you don't know how this ends. The havoc that will occur is just getting started. Life never ends. Now, do one action before I reveal all the startling information. If you think this initial taste is crazy, then press the bell, hit the subscribe button, and lock on. Hold off until the next chapter comes out. I swear, you don't want to miss the next big thing. It began like any other New York night filled with glitzy hip-hop and love. Outside, velvet ropes, flashes bouncing off fancy automobiles, and faces from the music industry ostentatiously ignoring one another while surreptitiously recording every step. However, what transpired after midnight is currently regarded as Jim Jones' most dramatic betrayal and Chrissy's journey. It was more than just a brawl. It wasn't just another clumsy dispute. It was a nuclear dot. Jim had been surrounded by rumors for weeks. Dipset had been receiving strange communications from insiders close to him. Don't close your eyes. Chrissy's not where she claims to be. Jim initially dismissed it. Chrissy has been his ride-die for years, after all. The woman who supported him during several tabloid rumors, industry battles, and court cases. However, when a close friend sent him a grainy screenshot showed Chrissy wearing Common Yes as she entered a posh hotel in the heart of the city, the Grammy Award-winning rapper and her ex began to fit together like a puzzle he never intended to resolve. Jim did what Jim does at that point. He moved quickly. No calls, no reluctance, and no waiting for justifications. With his hoodie pulled up, he stormed that hotel. Snug. Behind him, with phones already in motion, were two of his closest boys. Witnesses described Jim's fury as volcanic as he paced, muttered to himself, and clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white when the 14th floor elevator doors opened. The quiet was overwhelming. Jim could immediately hear light chuckling coming from behind a broken hotel door, according to one witness. His steps were heavier than the last as he pushed forward. Then it took place. Jim gave that door such a forceful kick that it almost flew from its hinges. What he observed therein, the internet has yet to recover from that particular moment. Chrissy was perched on the bed's edge. With her hair unkempt and makeup smudged, she gazed at Common as if she were lost in a time that ought to have remained hidden in her history. Typical. As usual, he sat back in a chair and drank a glass of Hennessy, utterly unaffected by the mayhem that was now raging in the room. The room echoed with Jim's yell, "You back with him out of all of us?" Immediately, phones were pulled out. Chrissy's face was captured by someone in that a moment of utter panic, horror, and remorse combined into one. This is where things become even more messy, though. Jim not only confronted them within hours, but a security video from a hotel hallway also began to circulate. Guess who leaked it online? Several insiders claim that it was Jim himself. Although the clip didn't cover everything, it was sufficient. Common mumbling something into Chrissy's ear, Chrissy holding onto his arm, and Jim blew up the moment he walked in. That video is like dynamite on social media. Within an hour, hashtags like #Jim vs. Common and #Chrissy exposed were trending. The treachery wasn't merely romantic, it was intimate. Jim had a past with Common, a man who used to hang out with Dipset, but didn't share their enthusiasm. There are rumors that years ago, Common made crude remarks about Jim, disparaging him without providing any context. Fans said that discovering Chrissy involved with that man was like adding salt to an already wounded wound. Leaked almost instantly, audio began to surface. Jim was heard shouting, "After everything I provided you," in a tremulous voice that was captured on camera by a hotel guest. "You play me like this, then commit's not what you believe. Chrissy is crying. Let me explain, please." Then the voice of the common people broke through the confusion. "Calm, but a clever man. She approached me. Don't blame me for this." The internet was broken by that line alone. Supporters were split. According to others, Chrissy had been suppressing her anger for years because she was fed up with waiting for Jim to give his all. She was criticized by others for betraying a man who had supported her through good times and bad. There were also many who said that Common purposefully re-entered Chrissy's life in order to cause trouble, and that hotel room wasn't where the meltdown ended. At dawn, an enigmatic snippets of a purportedly private video that was shot that evening appeared on an Instagram account. The clips, which were blurry but undeniable, suggested private moments between Chrissy and Common prior to Jim's arrival. The rumor alone sent the fan base into a frenzy, even though nothing X-rated has been confirmed. Some claimed that someone in Jim's camp was in charge of the account. Rumor had it that Jim himself had leaked the video to publicly discredit Chrissy before she could fabricate the story. Industry insiders began to comment, "Jim feels like his loyalty just got stomped on," an unidentified insider told a gossip blog, adding that he isn't acting logically and wants revenge, and Chrissy is pleading with him not to ruin her career because of this. According to another insider, Chrissy will be shown phoning Love and hip-hop producers to request that they remove specific footage from the next season in order to protect her picture. However, it was too late. There was already enough on the internet. Timelines were overrun with memes. Chrissy in side-by-side photos, others featured Jim with fire in his eyes, marked with the iconic clapback loading, while others wept on reality TV with phrases such, "She always wanted to ring, but got caught chasing old flames." And another twist was revealed just when everyone believed that this affair had reached its climax, a purported leak of a group chat including Chrissy, Common, and one of her best pals. According to screenshots, Chrissy says, "Jim will never change. At least Common gives me a sense of being heard. These messages are genuine. Jim has never suffered such a severe blow, and fans are waiting for him to strike back." One thing is clear from the opening chapter of this novel: the trust has been destroyed, and Jim Jones and Chrissy's love story may never be able to move on. He's strolling around like the placid core of a hurricane he helped generate, but the real question is, what will Jim do next? Private lives are suddenly commonplace and public entertainment. He doesn't tolerate humiliation. Rumor has it that he has more receipts, including a startling video that he is threatening to make public, and that might permanently damage Chrissy's reputation. Before we go farther, take a brief break. If you're locked in right now and enjoying this pandemonium, push that button. Just when you think it can't get any more explosive, it does. Click the subscribe button now. Don't wait, because believe me, the next chapter of this story will be far more damaging, wilder, and darker than you could have ever imagined. By the following morning, New York was buzzing as if it had just been hit by an earthquake, and everyone was talking about Chrissy, Common, and the video that Jim appeared to release on the internet, from Brooklyn coffee shops to Harlem barbershops. The world. Chrissy's name was drowning in hashtags she never imagined would be associated with her legacy, and the whispers had become full-fledged screams on the internet. The hallway video leak was terrible enough, but the revelation that set things off in motion was even worse. Jim wasn't done. A few hours after the initial video went viral, an anonymous Twitter post, a scary message was uploaded by someone who was obviously connected to Jim's team. If you thought that was crazy, wait until you see the actual video. It's adorable. Fans were riveted to their screens, reloading every second, waiting, and it only took the absence of graphics in the tweet to send social media into a frenzy. Chrissy, meantime, was in a downward spiral. According to several people close to her, she shut herself in her friend's apartment, sobbing excessively, chain-smoking cigarettes, and constantly exploding her phone. The yelling over the phone was purportedly captured by a friend. "Why would he do this to me? Why would he do this to me?" Naturally, the video quickly spread to gossip blogs. The storyline abruptly shifted from Chrissy cheating to a lady publicly sobbing while torn between two strong guys, one of whom was resolved to destroy her entire reputation. Common then took center stage, remaining quiet, composed, and serene for days, just as he had looked in that hotel room. However, when the outcry became more intense, he shared a mysterious Instagram story in which a black screen with the words "Truth always comes to the surface. I'm not worried" appeared. Fans were furious. Theories erupted, with some even asserting that Common had his own agenda. Was he implying that Chrissy approached him voluntarily? Was he implying that Jim had more dirt? Receipts that have the potential to completely upend the scandal, but the trouble didn't end there. A phone call purportedly between Jim and a Love and hip-hop producer was published online. Jim can be heard yelling, "Don't you dare protect her," in the tape. "Let it all out. I want to see every viewpoint, every tear, and every clip. Show the world what she truly is." The producer's hushed response suggested hesitancy, fearing legal resistance, but Jim persisted. It was business, reputation, and legacy. Now, not just personal. Chrissy, on the other hand, was frantically seeking supporters, calling up Yandy, with whom she had previously clashed, with her in public pleading for support, but according to insiders, Yandy didn't bite, saying instead, "Girl, you brought this on yourself. You believed you were untouchable at all times. Now all right," so that audio was also leaked. If accurate, it demonstrated how alone Chrissy had become, as friends who she believed would support her were amusing themselves by exploiting her failure. Social internet descended into barbarism, with TikTok being inundated with reenactments of the hotel altercation, memes showing people drinking Hennessy while mayhem broke out, and countless thought pieces. Jim's irate outburst was intercut with footage of Chrissy proposing to him years prior in a viral video that was labeled, "She begged for a ring but ended up begging for forgiveness." Another widely shared post made fun of even celebs couldn't help but weigh in on her breakdown with the line, "Some women just don't appreciate a real one till he's gone," as tweeted by Remy Ma, while Funk Flex criticized Jim on Hot 97 for exposing women in this way, stating, "That ain't Harlem. It's foul." Accord liked a number of suspicious tweets about Chrissy. Then the controversy struck. Was a civil war that split the entire hip-hop world, and it wasn't only about treachery. Then there was a surprise twist, a second video shortened, blurred, but arguably more revealing, showing Chrissy and Remark sitting awkwardly close on the hotel bed, her hand grazing his knee, and while there wasn't much sound, the film ended quickly, but Chrissy's statement, "Jim will never be the man I need him to be," was enough to send shockwaves across the internet. Supporters thought it demonstrated Chrissy was planning treachery long before he caught her, while detractors said it proved he forced her into someone else's arms. The aftermath was devastating. Heart emojis and "Stay Strong King" messages were all over Jim pictures, while Chrissy's Instagram comments were overflowing with snake emojis. Common, he sat in stillness. Was he planning something? Was he allowing the pandemonium to play into his hands? His composed manner now fueled even more curiosity. Fans couldn't stop watching because no one knew. VH1 producers were frantically working behind the scenes, and ratings gold was dropping into their laps. Chrissy allegedly threatened legal action if the film aired, but Jim retaliated with his own attorneys insisting it remain in, demonstrating the network's fear of lawsuits. This season just became the most explosive in the history of hip-hop and love. One insider stated, "Fans are going to riot if they don't telecast it. Chrissy is done." Additionally, only rumors surfaced that Chrissy also possessed incriminating receipts, this time pertaining to Jim, just when you thought she had run out of options. Screenshots of purported text messages from Chrissy's phone were published on a gossip blog, phone displaying Jim's late-night messages to several ladies. Chrissy could turn the story on its head and portray Jim as anything from an angel if these texts were authentic. However, detractors dubbed it desperate, saying that after being revealed, Chrissy was only attempting to change the story. By the end of that week, Chrissy was first seen out in public, her tear-streaked face concealed by sunglasses, grabbing Common's arm while they were surrounded by paparazzi. Fans were inconsolable over the photograph alone. Was she going with Common instead of Jim? Was she going after the same man who ignited this controversy? The mayhem had just begun. It was actually only getting worse. According to insiders, Jim possessed one last piece of proof, a private tape from the hotel room that had not yet been discovered. According to sources, Jim was simply waiting for the appropriate opportunity to release the footage, which may permanently damage Chrissy's reputation. The scene was prepared. One woman holding on to her dignity, one man determined to exact retribution, and one ex-boyfriend who appeared uncomfortably composed in the face of chaos. The only question that remained as the globe held its breath was, how far you already? No, this is more than hearsay if you're still following this development. Would Jim go to ensure Chrissy paid the ultimate price? A real-time saga unfolding. Sign up today. The final blow will be delivered in part 3, so stay tuned. The final twist that no one will predict. By the time Friday night arrived, you'll be sorry you missed it. It wasn't simply buzzing on the internet. It was completely blown up. Everybody had seen the hazy bed footage, the mysterious leaks, and the hallway video. Jim then dropped the nuclear bomb, which no one was prepared for. 11:47 p.m. Jim's official Instagram account displayed a live notification. In an instant, cousins poured in. His eyes were bloodshot but very serious as he sat there in a dimly lit room, blunt in hand. It had a different vibe. Less anger, more cool serenity. His supporters were frozen to their televisions when he shouted those words. "Do you guys think she cheated on me? Let me reveal her true identity to you." He directed the camera at his TV screen and hit play a few seconds later. The purported complete hotel video was what appeared on that screen. The video was choppy and grainy, but its meaning was quite apparent. Chrissy and him were seated on his lap in that hotel room, laughing and drinking. She once leaned closer, murmured something, and despite the muted audio, people claimed to have heard her remark, "Jim, don't even make me feel like a woman anymore." The live conversation erupted. You could hardly read the comments because they passed by so quickly. Not Chrissy, not way. This is what she actually did. Calm down, savage. After letting the video run for around 2 minutes, Jim stopped it. Before the live stream ended, his last remarks were relaxing. "I'll play you worse. If you play me, it's finished." Clips of the live event were all over in a matter of minutes. The Shadroom reposted,